Good morning, Spurs freaks. Lex Wraps here in the morning. The Spurs have beaten the Rockets 124 to 105. They're 2-0 over the Houston Rockets for the season so far. Great game by Devin Vassell. 26 points on 10 of 17 shooting, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 1 steal. Just a great win by the Spurs last night. But y'all know I'm not really the Spurs freak. Ah! Ugh! Ugh! Ah, Good morning, Raptor freaks. Alexiot here. Still, I had to do the fake out. I thought it was funny. It occurred to me at one moment last night. I was like, man, I should start the show as the Spurs freak. Because this symbolizes what a lot of people are doing right now that are Raptors fans. They're switching to their secondary team and they're starting to follow them. Well, both my teams suck this year, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. Thanks for showing up, y'all. The people that are here this morning. This is going to be, this is the kind of thing that it's where, like, okay, let's show up. Let's talk about it. Let's work this thing out. Because I see that Raymond Jacobs starting already. How do I make the hurting stop? Stop banging your head against the wall. How about that, Raymond? It's easy. Let's just turn it off. Much like you could turn your TV off, just move on to something else. Just occupy your time and thoughts with other subjects for a while. Watch the games because we are Raptor freaks and we will watch the games no matter what. But when you're not watching the games, turn it off. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to dwell on it. Know this, Raymond Jacob, that as bad as things are right now, they will get better. They will definitely get better. In fact, right now, I'm kind of really intrigued. And this is the kind of thing, I could make this channel very weird if we're going to lose a lot this season. It may be this macabre, display of horrors. Every day, we just talk about a new horror that's happened to the Toronto Raptors as far as a new way to lose, a new way to, really disappoint us and make us feel like, things might get it. And then, boom, no, you're going to get disappointed in the end. I could do that. It could be very comical and very funny. It struck me yesterday. It's like, why don't you do like a really weird, torture show? And Raymond Jacob comes in with that first comment today. How to make the hurting stop. Well, we just need to keep it all in perspective and understand that, look, this is how it goes sometimes. Teams have bad times and good times, and we're just in a bad time. Now, last night was kind of, really good in a lot of ways. It really, really was. We're showing our team is in a late development stage. It's not in a developing stage. It's not in a winning stage. It's in a late developing stage, which means it's close to being a good team again. When you lose that close in those kind of ways, and just, listen, first of all, Philadelphia played like shit last night. They deserve to lose, and we deserve to win. But it didn't work out that way. Somehow, some way, we figured out how to lose. The most telling stat to me about last night is how many points they scored in the last 9-16 of regulation and overtime. That means in 4 minutes and 16 seconds, 4-1-6, the Raptors could not score in regulation after that. They actually scored 3 points in that period of time. And in the 5 minutes of the overtime, they managed to only score 2 points. That is insanely bad. That is insanely bad. You can go 9, almost 10 minutes, and you're only going to score 5 points in a close game like this, and you still can almost win it still. That's bad for the Sixers, and that's bad for us, because we couldn't execute. 2 points in the overtime is absolutely dreadful. Yes, Fred missing a bunch of open shots late in the game really did hurt us and was a huge part of why we lost last night. But there were all kinds of other things that were fuck-ups in different ways during the game that all added up to getting to that point. Now, Scotty, different stuff. He had mixed bags. Some of it was good, mostly not very good. OG showing up for the first time was really interesting, because showing up for the first time in a few games, because he was very good. He shot some good threes. He was awkward. His timing was off. He had that crazy, weird fast break with Scotty where they totally messed it up. They had the opportunity and they didn't make it. There's a lot of weirdness about the game last night, but we'll go over it. And then also I got a preview for the 905 against Texas. Let's just do that first real quick. 905 are playing in the showcase in Vegas today at 6 p.m. So if you want to watch Raptors 905, they're on. And our referees for that game tonight are Mike Brown's favorite, Brent Haskell, is going to be the head ref for this. So this is like this is like the second time we've had Brent Haskell as a lead ref for the 905 in a couple games. He actually just refed one of their games just last week. Cameron Jelenis is the second ref, and Stephanie Barksdale. And they're playing Texas, y'all. They're going to play Texas. So we don't normally play Texas ever at all. So this should be interesting. Plus, we should look at the new players on Raptors 905. There's 3 new players on that team. Sterling Brown has been out of the league for a little bit, but he is back with the Raptors. He is a guard forward out of Southern Methodist, 6'5". It'll be interesting to see if he can contribute in some certain ways for them. Then we've got Daryl Morsell. He's a guard from Marquette, 6'5". And then finally, the one that I'm most interested in is Aaron Epps. He's a forward out of LSU, and he's 6'10". He's a big guy, so maybe he can be an interesting addition in some sort of big guy way that can help the team. I don't think these guys will get on the main roster, but they'll definitely help with the size. And Reggie Perry being the only big guy before this, now he has another 6'10" dude to stand next to him. That's pretty good. So that's not Raptors 905 tonight, 6 p.m. versus Texas. I believe they're I forget what their name is. Texas something. I should go look at it. What is their name? The Texas team. What is their name? Oh, no. I don't care enough. Whatever. All right, let's see. Vinny Mac is here. All right, let's see when Vince McMahon is here with us this morning. It's great. I'll tell you what, brother. Watched a lot of basketball in my life. This Raptors team isn't what I signed up for. It is nice that Raps came back to make it competitive, but I'm overall left with concern. Well, of course you are. I think we're all concerned, but in some ways the concern is the same concern we've had at the beginning of this losing streak, right into the point of losing the 6th game to the Sixers. There's just some weird alliteration right there. We lost 6 in a row in the last game to the Sixers. 6 is 6 and 6. Oh my gosh. I'm with you, Vinny. And I'm glad that you care about the Raptors enough to be concerned. I guess because you're free from running the WWE, you can now focus on the Raptors basketball more. And I appreciate that you chose this because I've heard that you're not into entertainment of any type. You really don't do anything other than work. So in your retirement, you're a Raptors fan? That's fantastic, Vince. I'm glad you're here. Monique is saying battle and wars. Pascal back in full form. All right, let's talk about the 3 stars for the game last night for the Raptors versus the Sixers. Pascal Siakam is by far the number 1 star last night for the Raptors. 38 points, fantastic game. 13 of 27 shooting, 3 of 8 from 3, 9 of 11 at the free throw line, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 5 turnovers. But still, he was a positive +3 in his plus minus. Pascal was doing it last night, and everybody was recognizing his greatness. Everybody's talking about how badass he was. There was some weird plays, like there's a flop by a player at one point where he got a call on Pascal, and he had made the shot, and that sucked. There was different, really screwy plays in some certain areas, but for the most part, Pat Fraher and company, they did a good job. You saw that all kinds of crazy plays. They were screwing over Philadelphia late and helping us to try and win the game. And it was just our poor execution that did us in. That the refs were trying to help us win. They wanted us to win, and we couldn't go and take it. That's how ineffective we are. The refs were giving us chances. And that challenge play by Nick Nurse was brilliant. That may have been the best challenge play that he's done ever in his coaching career. That may have been the best challenge outcome ever. Perfect opportunity, best outcome, really, really huge between 6-point lead and a 3-point lead. And they nulligated a shot that Tobias Harris made and gave him a foul instead and gave us the ball. That was fantastic. That took a lot of guts, Pat Fraher. I have to say, you are a very brave man to do something like that in Philadelphia, in that building like that. And I do appreciate it. That's why I can't get mad at the refs. There were a couple things that were annoying about them and stuff that happened with us. There was a lot of contract on our players going to the basket that wasn't getting called. You saw Scotty get hit in the face a few times last night. And at one point, he got really mad about it because PJ Tucker got a foul off him, even though PJ Tucker struck him in the face. And the ref gave him a tag. It was Ashley Moyer Gleish. And she actually was a pretty good ref. I was worried about her being too crazy, being from Pennsylvania, but she was fine. She was down the middle. And really, that was a good ref crew last night. JT Orr, Pat Fraher, Ashley Moore Glish. I cannot blame them. It was really that we did not pick up what was set in front of us to go take and just execute and win, because we really could have. We really could have. We missed a lot of open shots late, and I'm looking squarely at you, Fred. And also, just it was really bad. Once again, we had very anemic scoring overall. I'm looking for the 3 stars of the game, and there's only 3 guys that scored in double digits. And 2 of them got 13 points. So you tell me what the fuck is wrong with us. It's a one-man show last night. Pascal Siakam, 38 points, scoring pretty much 38% of our offense last night. Meanwhile, we got my second star is Chris Boucher. He got another double-double off the bench, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 4 of 6 shooting. He hit that crazy step-back 3 that looked like, oh, that's ill-advised. But, he made it. That was cool. 3 offensive rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Not a bad game by Chris off the bench. Energy personified, working hard, doing good things for us. A bright spot on the team. Him and Pascal both getting double-doubles. So they're the first 2 stars. And the third star is the returning OG Anunoby. 13 points, 4 of 10 shooting. He got 3 3-pointers, which were a real breath of fresh air for our team. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. But OG was a minus 25, the worst minus on our team last night. And, we got to say, he's shaking off the rust. He's doing different things. But we also see with OG's presence on the court just how much better we are. We're better defensively. We're just better, more organized team. He seems like he does a lot of fill in the gaps kind of work that we've been lacking in the games while he's been absent. That he really does clean shit up and cover up a lot of mistakes. And also he's just really active and causing problems. So I was really happy to see OG come back. That was a great buoy to our spirits and kind of helped us to be in this game and possibly win it, was OG's presence. But I'm really not happy with the scoring overall by our guys. We have 3 starters that were in single digits. Juancho, Scotty, and Fred. None of them got over 9 points. And that's just not enough production all around from different people. You got Pascal so much is the figurehead, and then really I can't really say any of them were successful after that. Even Chris and OG with 13 points each. That's very anemic. That's not very strong. And I can't, Fred getting 9 points and playing 41 minutes, that's crazy. 40 minutes for OG, 13 points. These guys need to produce. That's a big problem right now. They're not producing numbers. I mean, look, 3 of 15 shooting, Fred. I mean, something's wrong, man. In fact, I'm looking at Fred's shot recently, and I know he's been using the Noah system to try and fix it, but there's something wrong with his shot in a way that it looks like Chris Boucher's rotation at this point. If you notice, if you pay real close attention, Fred's shot is now turning like this and like this and like this instead of going like this. It should be going like this, over itself, up and over, up and over, up and over, in. But it's going woo. It's like a diagonal loop. It's that weird horizontal spin that Chris puts on it. He's doing weird spins on the shot, and it's really not good. His shot is so not money right now. He's steady Frey. You can't be steady Frey right now because he's not steady. And it's just too bad. I hate it because I know he's trying real hard to get out of it. But that's a big problem. None of these guys are scoring. Now, you look at the team stats last night, and they're very even in a lot of ways. We actually, listen to this, guys. We made more field goals than them. We shot more field goals than them. We shot a higher percentage than them. 42% from the field. They shot 40. We were not totally horrible on threes, but that was where we have the deficit. They made 4 more threes than us. That is 12 points. We lost by 3 points. So where were the points made up? Well, we made 5 more shots overall. But still, 15 3-pointers to 11 3-pointers is the big difference in this game. Also, they got to the line way more than us and made 9 more free throws than us. So there's 9 points there, 12 plus 12 from the threes. And you see where the deficit we got to make up when the other way is really tough. We out rebounded them 50 to 41. We got 9 offensive rebounds. We out assisted them 24 assists, just one off of the magic number of 25 that I like to see. We got even on the hustle stats, 9 hustle stats to 9 hustle stats. We are even on the turnovers, 16 turnovers each. Now, that may have been an area where the Raptors could have done better because normally we keep it under 10 turnovers or at least have less than the other team. We won the points in the paint, 40 to 30. So we won most of the important battles in this game. We won shooting, points in the paint. We won rebounding. We were tied on turnovers. How the fuck did we lose? Well, we lost in shooting with the 3-pointers. 3-point shooting absolutely killed us last night. And just poor execution. We get these stretches where we just can't score, and they're a real problem. We did real good things on defense. We kept the Philly score down low. They partly was because they were sucking and shooting really bad themselves, but also we played good hard defense on them. And we kept a low first quarter where we were leading at the end of the first quarter, 23 to 22. And that was a great little small victory. But in the second quarter, they got away from us. They messed us up. And Nick said it in his interview after the game. There's 90 seconds of play where they hit a barrage of 3-pointers and boom, that just ruined us. We had 90 seconds of really bad play in the second quarter, and that really kind of busted open the game for the rest of the game. 35 points for the Sixers in the second quarter. And they only scored like 42 in the second half and then 5 in the overtime. We were actually outscoring them later. It's just that second quarter deficit was too much that they got in that 90 seconds he talked about. It's so messed up. It sucks. All right, let's see what Tom Duke's saying. Lots of concern is warranted. Even Matty D's getting critical. Raptors employees, players and front office workers will be boiling with frustration. I wish them the best in these hard times. Go Raptors. Tough times. Yeah, they're tough times. Now, let's look at something what's coming up tomorrow. We're going to be going to Madison Square Garden tomorrow. It's the Knicks. We haven't played them yet this year. This may be a game where we can get it going because, first of all, the Knicks are on a win streak. They've won like 6 or 7 games in a row or something. Let me just look at that in the standings. They have won 7 games in a row. Yeah. We could spoil that streak. They're due to lose, and they haven't seen us yet. We may have a really good matchup against them in certain ways. We have in the past. We play them very well. So I think that if we're going to win one of these games before the end of the year, tomorrow night might be the night in Madison Square Garden. So I'm really hoping for that. We'll have to see. Yeah, Tom, there is concern, and there's going to be a lot of searching for yourself in the mirror. Like Justin's been doing, Justin Bieber. But listen, it is what it is, and these guys will get it. They'll figure it out. But no pointing fingers. Draymond Green, after the game against the Warriors on Sunday, said he had advice for the Raptors team on how to get out of this because they've been in similar space this year, the Warriors, with their struggles. He said basically don't turn on each other. You really have to stay together and really not play the blame game. We can't start blaming the coach. You can't start blaming your teammates. You can't blame every which way. Don't point fingers. Just go ahead and stay together as a unit, and you'll weather it, and you'll be fine. It's just that if these troubled times can make things worse by causing divisions on the team or problems between people, and there's no reason to do that. They're a collective, they're a unit, they're together, they're all one. And when they do start blame gaming or looking for other people on the team to point fingers at, that's when things start getting bad. And it's the same with the coach involved also. So that was Draymond Green's advice for the Toronto Raptors on how to weather this difficult time right now. All right, let's keep going. Monique, super fan Monique Lawrence is saying also in her second comment today, the return of OG Defensive Player of the Year, the road gets tougher, but we always stay with our guys regardless. Yeah, it was really nice to see OG back, and really cool that his shot was back. He was missing his 3-pointers before he went out with injury because his hand was hurt. Well, it seems like it's healed up enough, and now maybe we'll get a more capable three-point shooting OG going forward from now. It was real nice to see him out there. And this is the kind of stuff that will help us get back on the winning side is when guys return. They're reinforcements. They bolster us. They bring an energy, and they're like, oh, yes, OG's back. Precious is back. And then boom, things are better in some aspect, and we feel like a little bit more uplifted because of the presence of a player who's been hurt for a while. So these kind of reinforcements coming in will really help us. There's just not enough to win the game last night, and it's weird. Okay, David is here. We haven't seen David Saborn in a bit. Good to see you, David. I agree, Tom. Matty D has been bad this year. Sportsnet broadcast is so bad since Alvin started. I bought a VPN and subscribed to NBA TV so I could watch the US stream. Alvin is such a moron. Can't stand him. Well, I am completely disagreeing with you on this, David. He had an amazing game last night, and he explained so many different things last night in so many different ways. He told us stories about when he used to play. He was teaching us how a point guard was supposed to play last night, and everything he was saying last night made so much sense. He literally was speaking about the point guard's mindset and going out there and trying to set his teammates up to get them going, and he's so right. I think you're totally off base with this because, like, honestly, it may be that you just didn't watch him when he was younger. I think that's true from what I remember you telling me at the meet and greet, that you didn't watch the Raptors in the early 2000s with Vince and them, because if you watched them, you'd have more respect for the man. Because honestly, he was a huge clutch player for us. And I so enjoy every single story he tells. I enjoy him talking off kilter with his weird talking sayings. I enjoy, he's just been gold. I'm completely in the opposite camp than you on this. And I couldn't stand to listen to the Philadelphia broadcast last night. You're crazy, David. Listening to that lady to call Embiid JoJo and like them going all crazy, her and Ala Abdel Nabi about the Sixers. That would have been torture to watch the US feed last night. So I can't get behind this. And in fact, I was noting last night in the middle of the game, Alvin is kicking ass. His stories lately have been so intriguing and interesting and just really illuminating. He is doing a fantastic job. I don't think you're right. And then Matt and Jack, they get to keep things light and levity and they're fun. And Matt was wearing a turtleneck last night. And he came in, and he looked like Robert Wagner. I was like, that dude looks like Robert Wagner. And Alvin started making fun of him, saying, you look so charming and handsome. All the ladies around us are probably checking you out, Matt Devlin. You know what? We're going to agree to disagree. But just since this dude's jersey's behind me, and he was one of my favorite Raptors for most of the Raptors' existence, I have to honestly very, very much disagree with you. He's been fantastic. The stories he's telling about back when he played with Vince are fantastic. He talks about Oakley. He talks about Kevin Willis. He talks about Chris Bosh. It's a fantastic job that Alvin is doing. So I can't get behind this, David, at all. I'll see you next time at trivia, man. All right, Monique is saying Fred comes and goes, but let's lift him up. Doesn't look like himself. Raptors forever said my fair share and my game reaction. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, Monique has a write-up, and thank you for writing that up. You're very positive and optimistic in it, and we need more of that, Monique. I appreciate you shining a light and talking about the good stuff about things from last night in your write-up for the game last night. Very much appreciate it. If you follow her on Facebook, you can see it. She puts it up there. Something's wrong with Fred's shot. His shot has not been right for a month now, and he really needs to get back to what he was doing better. There's something real weird with it. Like I said, I was trying to describe the way it's rotating right now. It looks really weird. It's rotating like diagonally and over itself in a weird way. It looks more and more like Chris Boucher's shot, and that's not a good thing. So he needs to get that back. He really does, because this is the thing. We're having these weird games where, all right, one game, Scotty and Freddie will step up and be completely everything for us, score 60-plus points, and nobody else steps up. And then we have a game like last night where Pascal steps up singularly, carries us on his back, and then Freddie and Scotty don't show up at all on that night. So it's like some nights one guy is stepping up and playing really well, and then other nights it's different guys are playing really well, but the other guys aren't playing well. We're not getting a consistent effort as a group. Some individuals will show up from game to game, but see, Pascal won't show up on the games when Scotty and Freddie are up. So we need everybody to show up and give solid contributions. We need more double-digit scores in games. This is weird how we're having such singular production through like one or two players each game. They need to figure out how to get the ball around. And once again, I think the biggest problem the Raptors are having this season is that they don't have a point guard. That Alvin Williams talking about the point guard stuff on the broadcast just illuminates it, that we're playing with no point guard right now. How the fuck do you win in the NBA without a director, a leader, a guy who's figuring out who should get the ball when and where? Fred's not doing it this year. Every single game, somebody else has more assists than Fred. If Fred had more assists, then it would be showing that is it. Last night was Siakam, 6 assists, the leader in assists. And Fred had 3, just like Scotty and OG. So there's something wrong here with no point guard. We'd have no playmaker, nobody who's setting people up to get them to score. And I love, like Alvin was explaining, this is what I used to do to help this person get going in games. It's exactly what we need right now. We need somebody to set people up and make their lives easier so they can get going. And nobody's doing that. Nobody's helping each other get it easier on our team. It's in some ways very selfish and messed up. And one of the things that occurred to me at the beginning of the game is like these guys are always just shooting around before the game. They kind of just shoot around, and that's their shoot around to get warmed up for the game. Other teams like to do a layup line where they're running up and stuff like that. What happened to NBA teams doing passing drills before the game? What happened to that, Nick Nurse? Can you guys do some passing drills maybe before the game? And then you guys will get some kinetics going between each other and kind of like orient yourself. Oh, this is the passing. Because you look at that break with Scotty and OG and just how bad that was. That really was mainly OG's just back and he's awkward. He was tired in that place. He had no stamina to run and finish it. And Scotty was like hoping he would finish it because Scotty played sheepish last night. He played very non-aggressive. He looked scared a little bit, a little passive. And meanwhile, he's like, I don't want to take it up. And OG's like, I'm too tired. I'll give it back to you. And then you get what you get in that stupid little part where they turned it over with an advantage. They could have scored, but neither one. One was too tired and one was too sheepish. And it sucked. I hated that. But that's what I think. I think we need a point guard. We need somebody to just say, I'm the point guard and I'm going to help everybody else score. And before the game, can we do passing drills? Can we get like them doing just passing drill, bounce, pass, just back and forth, back and forth? It'll get some sort of thing. Like, all right, an example is I used to take a lot of improv classes at Second City. And when you come in to warm up for improv, you do like these games to warm up with your voice and like interacting and getting like a connection with people you may do scenes with in the class. They need to do this in pre-game. They need to start doing passing drills. They need to start doing, instead of a layup drill, instead of just shooting, random guys just shooting from around the horn the whole time, spend a little bit of the time getting a little bit of passing between each other before the game. You will be shocked how much that can help the team get chemistry going. Just please go back to the fundamentals, the basics, Nick. When this happens on a team, this is what a coach does. The players are not sharing the ball enough. They're not showing chemistry interlocked enough. You get them out there and make them do passing drills and get them passing to each other and getting more and more familiar with going back and forth between each other. We play so much ISO, we're not good at passing between each other. It's crazy. It is crazy how bad we are at finding each other or passing to each other. We got to change it. That is a huge flaw in our team. And when we change that kind of stuff, we'll do better. We will, for sure. Naco the Nacho's here. Good to see my good friend Naco the Nacho. Fred, man, there were a few bad calls our way, in my opinion. Pascal gave nothing short of an elite performance. Him, Boucher, and Malachi or OG were our best players. Yeah, those aren't bad picks. I mean, let's look at Malachi for a sec. He was in 19 minutes, 2 of 7, not the best shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and 5 points. 5 points in 19 minutes. See, that's not notable enough for me. Malachi needs to be more aggressive. We don't have enough guys scoring, helping out Pascal. Malachi needs to go ahead and say, I'll be that dude, because he can be that dude. So once again, I don't think he was aggressive enough. I don't think Scotty was aggressive enough. I don't think Juancho was aggressive enough. I don't think the other guys are pretty good for what they did. Freddie just didn't make his shots. He got enough shots up. He was aggressive. It just even didn't make his shots. But it is tough. It's very tough. And there were bad calls from the refs for the Raptors, but they were evened out. They were very bad calls for Philadelphia also. And in fact, I would say Philly got worse calls than we did last night. But there were some bad calls at times. But once again, the refs are really good at covering it up with makeup calls and weird shit. Like the one area last night with ref manipulation that was annoying was the side out calls. These guys were in the process of shooting, but they would say, no, side out, you get the ball out of bounds. That can be really messed up in some ways. They can really change things. But like I said, Pratt, Fraher, JT Orr, they were helping us. They tried to put the game on a silver platter for us to take it and win it. And we just didn't execute and do it. It's not that they wanted it, but they really did help us and gave us many opportunities to take this game and win last night. So I can't blame the refs in any kind of way. If anything, they helped us. They really did. All right, G saying 6 in a row, but for some reason was more concerned the day before. Pascal is becoming very special. He needs a consistent second option. Did see some more ball movement and cutting. Yeah, it was more earlier in the game and not as much later in the game. That was messed up. That seems to be a pattern too, is that maybe we're committed to sharing the ball and looking for each other early in the game, but then later in the game, it kind of just goes away and devolves into like just one-on-one isolation offense, which I hate. I hate our isolation offense at this point. I hate Pascal has like lowest percentage of his offense is assisted, that he's all doing it all exactly on himself. This is just fucked up. It's not the way to build an offense. It's so hard to do. And I wish we just had plays that we would run like other teams, and we would have much better times at the end of games instead of just going, hey, go do it. Fucking write up a play, set them up for success. Y'all are just kind of saying flex offense, work it around and find the shot. Well, what the fuck? If they're not giving them any kind of shot, then, you can't just do it that way. You're not going to find an execution of a good basket because you're doing it half-assed. You need to have purpose. You need to have a directive. You need to have a reason. You need to have a real goal, a tangible, specific goal with what you're doing on offensive possession late in the game and execute it. I don't care if it's this screen, go around, and then boom, you have a layup. There are plays that people call in the NBA when coaches say they draw it. They say, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And if this isn't there, then you get it to him. Well, why can't we see something that looks like a play on the court instead of just a half-assed go and isolate and try and beat him one-on-one, Pascal? Or Fred, just break things down and just try and make an open shot. These are failures of the coach in a way, to not make a play for the team to execute and say, this specifically will work if you guys execute this to T. If you can do this, this will get us a basket right now. Where is this kind of coaching? I want this kind of coaching. And I'm not saying fire Nick Nurse. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, why can't we do this? I see other teams have set plays. You can tell they're running a play. It never seems like the Raptors are ever running a play. It's just half-assed. It's just, go dribble and try and score, Pascal. I hate that so much. We need plays. Stop being lazy and start writing up plays. Earl Watson, Nick Nurse, Nate Bjorkgren, Adrian Griffin, Trevor Gleason. You guys have a great brain trust. What the fuck? You can't write up some offensive plays in clutch situations where we need baskets for sure, and the game is on the line, in trouble. Fucking, it's one of my biggest pet peeves about this team's coaching staff is in the last couple of years, they don't seem to call plays. They just don't seem to. All right, let's keep going. Callie's here. Good to see Callie. Fred was stone cold and not like Austin. I wish he was stone cold like Austin, just stone cold for shooting. Why not pass to someone else for a change? When we move the ball and players move, we succeed. That's right. I don't know, Callie. I don't even know at this point. Like, I don't even want to go back and analyze it or watch it too much because it's just annoying at this point. So I don't know. They should be looking for more of the open person. There was different times where we saw ball movement that was fantastic. There was that one layup that Thad had that Chris threw to him, but that had been passed around all kinds of places. It looked really good. Man. All right. Anyway, I'll keep going. Monique saying 3 stars of the game. Pascal, OG, and Chris. No need to be mad. The effort was there. Pascal needs help. Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just, disappointed. I think a lot of people are. And there's reason to be. And if this is the kind of thing, like, look, what we were talking about yesterday. If we're going to be a development team and maybe we're not going to win a lot this year, but we can get close and be right there, almost about to win, that's good in some ways. But they really do need to work on late game execution and making the shots when they really matter late, because they're not doing that. That dry spell right at the end of the game was the worst time to have it. We had a dry spell earlier in the game in the second quarter. We had a little bit of a dry spell in the third quarter. And then we had a dry spell at the end of the fourth and into the overtime. That's way too much dry spells for our offense. Even though it was the Eastern Conference kind of grinded out defensive game where it's low scoring, that's still way too long for us not getting points or baskets. It's really bad. And I do agree. Pascal, I think Pascal does need some help, but the help is there on the team. It's just guys need to step up and help him. G saying, feels like when players get uncomfortable and kept giving it back to Pascal or Fred at times. Maybe it's a lack of natural shooters, creators, youth, or don't want to be the one to lose it. G, that's a good point. At the end of the game last night, there very much was, I don't want to shoot this and be it on my shoulders, whether I make or miss kind of feeling. With some of the players, Scotty in particular was not wanting to shoot at the end of the game. He was very much passing it to the next guy for sure. There was a few guys that were kind of like that. OG was also like that too. And Fred and Pascal were the only ones who had the guts to try and shoot late in the game. And that's messed up. And that was a real problem. There are confidence issues on our team right now. When things aren't going good, there is a bit of confidence problems. You see that he did not even play Christian last night. He gave him a DMP along with Delano, and that was very interesting to me. The fact that he started Juancho last night was interesting. Juancho did not do well defensively early, but he very much switched to Kem pretty quick, and Kem was the guy who started the second half. And once again, I'm telling you, you look at Kem Birch out there when he plays defense and see how effective he is in different ways. Look, he is the guy who was kind of controlling Embiid to a degree. It's just really tough. That Embiid is a really interesting player at this point because he can shoot those threes. He's a pretty good shooter from mid-range too. So he's just really deadly in all kinds of different ways. Now, I didn't like how he was falling. He did a couple of timber moves last night, and one of them he fell on Fred, and it looked really bad. Like Fred might have been hurt from it. I was going to be so pissed at Joel. And if Fred's on the injury report from that incident coming forward, I'm going to be so mad at Joel for like his fucking goonishness, because basically that play, he took two of our guys out and he basically like undercut Fred's legs with his shoulder. And it was so dirty, and it was not like a normal play. He literally steamrolled himself into Fred on purpose. He is such a dirty goon kind of player. They all are. I mean, when PJ Tucker hit Scotty in the mouth and he got his technical, that was very much on purpose. And David, this is what Alvin Williams said when that happened. And this is the gold you will get from Alvin Williams. And when he's announced in the game, he said, you can't get upset about that, Scotty, getting hit in the mouth by PJ Tucker, because I'm going to tell you something right now, a secret. When I played against Allen Iverson, every single time I played against him and he would go to the basket and score, he always hit me in the head with his hand. He did it on purpose. As part of his shooting style, he would always come around and hit me on the head. I couldn't do anything about it. Not only was I getting scored on and getting hit on the head, he was getting the foul, and he was getting the foul line also for an N1. And that's just something you have to deal with as a pro. That was what he's trying to say to this guy. He's like, you got to keep your head up and just keep playing and not get all emotional and pissed off, because this shit happens. This is the NBA. And Alvin's telling us, Iverson did it to me every single play on the court. So it's like he scores 30 points, he's hitting me on the head 15 times. That's what Alvin said. That's the gold you're missing, David. That he told us that Allen Iverson used to hit him in the head every single time he would score going to the basket. And that's just how it is. That's the insight. That's the stuff I have no idea about because I never played the NBA. But this man knows his stuff, and he really was. It's crazy that you said that earlier, because he was so good last night during the Philly game. He was really on. And you really missed out. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's keep going. Callie. Okay. Yep. Monique. Yep. I read that one. G. Yep. I read that one. Okay. Starscream's here. Okay, Nets fan is back to check on us. It's a welfare check, I'm sure. I really don't know what to say, Raptor freaks, because I'm a fan of another team. I feel like anything I say comes across as condescending. Just want y'all to know that I genuinely feel bad for us. We don't need your sympathy, and we don't care, honestly. I mean, listen, I wasn't coming to Nets Freaks channel last year and saying I was feeling sorry for you guys, because I didn't. I was very happy that y'all had all kinds of problems. So if it's very kind that you're like this and that you care and that you have consideration for us, but it's not necessary. You really don't have to do it, Starscream. We're going to be fine. I feel great about this team. I'm not actually like everybody right now that's all pissed off and upset. In fact, I kind of like going back to the drawing board sometimes. When you write a rough draft and it doesn't sound right exactly, and you need to change it, switch it up, sometimes it's so bad you got to crumple it up and start all over. In some ways, I'm excited about the future for the Raptors because things are going to have to change. And who knows what could happen? We could get a good trade. We could have some really interesting innovation within already with the team we got, and some huge developments could happen where things get better for us that way also. So when things are always at your lowest, darkest, there's a potential for things to rise up and have things go better again. So I appreciate that, but it's not necessary. Don't worry about us. You go ahead and enjoy your good season with Durant and things that are going right now. You know, I heard a real weird thing. Apparently, they're saying that Kevin Durant is ineligible to win the MVP this year because of what he pulled this summer with the trade talk and causing all the issues for the Nets. That they've already decided that he's going to be excluded from MVP consideration because of what he did to the Nets at the beginning of the year. I can see the logic in that, and that makes sense to me. But that's interesting to me. But yeah, y'all are rolling. Y'all are doing good. And so benevolent and nice of you to come in here and check on us. But we're fine. Trust me. We're going to get this shit figured out. It's just that, you know, time is an interesting thing. It's like you can look at it in all kinds of ways. You can look at it as like 10 seconds is a really long time, and 10 seconds is a really short time. So it's really just how you want to look at time. Maybe this time right now is dark right now, but this time may not be as long as everybody thinks. And then also, it's like I have the feeling that like things are going to get worked out and figured out. We're really seeing close games and that we're this close, and that it's not, the problems we have aren't that bad. If we were a really, really bad team, we'd be getting blown out every single night and not even have a chance to win. So we're this close. That means that this could change and turn real quick, and things, we could figure it out, get Precious back, get a couple guys healthy, and bam, things could be all right all of a sudden. Now, once again, Starscream, I am looking at things in a no-lose scenario. Every single thing the Raptors do, win or lose, is a no-lose scenario to me. Because, you know, look, we may be just really good at staying competitive, doing winning things, but just not enough to win. Well, you know, that draft is real good this year. So we're not going to lose either way. You know, it's like, listen, you know how good we are normally. And if we are so bad this year and we do end up with a pretty good lottery pick this year, you know, we may be really good next year, kind of like the bump we got when Scotty came in as a rookie next year. So, you know, we're going to be fine. But I appreciate you coming to check on us. I'm sure you'll come in and check on us, and maybe a little bit, it may seem like you're rubbing it in, but you know what? I know your intentions are good. So you're always welcome here, Starscream, and I appreciate it. Logical Raptors Fanatic is here. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. Thank you, Mike. Keep fighting the good fight and keeping that truth going out there and staying positive about what's going on with our teams. You see that hallway over there? There's a light down at the end of the hall. And that's what I believe, that there's a light down the hallway for us to walk towards, and we're going to get there. And it's all going to work out. G saying either we make a run or Masai makes moves, or we unfortunately tank for a great pick, adding to the talent. I don't feel bad for some weird reason. I know, G, it really is that way. It's like, you know, if anything, we can look at it this way. We could be like pretty good and like kind of not be good enough. Well, if we're not good enough, and we can tell when we're going to have more impetus to go and make changes and have them happen. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, things aren't that bad. You get on cruise control, but they really aren't good enough. Well, if they're bad and you got to improve because you're forced to, then you will get better no matter what. So I'm really excited about the future for the Raptors. And in some ways, it's kind of like a comical, like dark humor that's going on with the Raptors right now. It's like, let's watch this game, the whole game, and see and have our hopes up and think, oh, we can maybe beat Philadelphia tonight. And then like have it all crash down at the end. And it's just like a car crash. It's just like if you enjoy like dark humor or like sadistic, like you're a masochist, you're like, I don't mind a little pain. Well, this is fun then, watching the Raptors right now as a Raptors fan, because it's like almost like comical. And it's like, oh, we are going to lose right now. And if you can look at the game in that way, in a little bit of ways, you do get entertained by it still. It's like, oh, this is a creative new way for us to lose. Let's in fact, I call the game last night would be just like if we made the play-in. The feeling of how the game went last night would be if we made the play-in is exactly what it'd be like. It'd be very similar to kind of what the Nets did last year in some ways. Although they got through the play-in, they got swept by Boston the first round. It's that feeling. It's like, oh, there's some chance and stuff like that. And boom, you get into the overtime, you score 2 points and you lose. That's what it would feel like if the Raptors are in the play-in at the end of the year, last night's game. And I don't want to feel like that. So either I want to avoid the play-in all around or go all the way into the playoffs with a real playoff spot. Masai said play-in for what? And I know people have said this has something to do with Tampa and not having games played in Tampa in the playoff, but it also has to do with there is a real philosophy by Masai Ujiri that if you're a play-in team, that's not good enough. And what the fuck? You might as well be really bad and get a lottery pick. So there is something in there. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I like G being like not feeling bad right now. I'm in the same place. I really feel optimistic in a weird way. Nako's saying if we weren't coming off a significant losing streak, I'd feel better. But there is a huge problem. Only one player scores over 20, like the Mavs. Yeah, we need more balance and need to like get more more things firing in the engine on our team, like than just 1 or 2 a night. It's definitely true. Definitely true. I mean, we can feel. I'm just trying to give another way to look at this and treat it all in a healthy way that's positive by saying, ooh, let's just make this a dark, like horror year. People love watching horror movies, slasher movies, Friday the 13th, and they're scary. So maybe this season is just a scary season. Ooh, it's scary because the Raptors will lose in a weird, like humiliating ways that make us feel real bad. But there's in some ways there's something to that. This kind of entertaining, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. All right, let's see. Monique saying anyone who comes in the chat with Wemby name can get lost. Just getting it out there from now. I wouldn't be upset if we got Wemby. Seriously. And it's crazy, Monique. I've been looking at the numbers in the last day. We do really have a good chance to get Wemby at this point. We are very much in the Wemby sweepstakes. We have a little bit of falling, a little bit more. If we can't win, we just can't. Our percentages to get Wemby go up real good. And I'm telling you, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I was totally against him or the idea of him. But now that recently we've had a 6-game losing streak, and we've looked this bad, I'm like, you know what? Listen, there's 2 ways to win this year. There really are 2 ways to win. It's like some card games. You take all the books, or if you don't get any, you get a prize too. So it's like, look, we may not be going for a championship this year, but you know what? It's not that we want to go for Wemby. It's just if it naturally occurs that way in some sort of way, you know what? We could have worse things happen. Because look, what is it about Wemby that's so great? He has 2 things. He can shoot the 3 and he has rim protection. Well, these are 2 of the biggest things we need right now. So it's like, hey, if he's in a Raptors jersey next year, that would be incredible and amazing. And I'm not against that. I really am not. I know that that's a good thing. So I don't know. I mean, I know that you're really anti-tank and you're anti-hearing his name. But in some ways, it's very realistic for us at this point. You can look at the standings and you can see how close we are to the bottom. It is very realistic, possibly, if our season doesn't get cleaned up soon. So, all right, let's keep going. Mike saying Fred VanVleet didn't come through in overtime. Yeah, we needed at least 1 3 or driving and getting a foul. Lowry would provide a layup or fadeaway in those points. And Fred wants to be a leader. He needs to make those. See, Mike is a really big protector of Fred and stands up for him. But he today is being critical of him. This is just the damn truth. He had a couple of open shots that were so important. He just didn't make them. He has to be that dude at this point. We can't have him do this to us. It was a really big part of why we lost, is open shots missed later in the game. And the fact that we could not score at all is really, really bad. And I appreciate that Mike's being honest about this with Fred. But once again, we don't just throw him out just because of bad stuff. There's still so many good things he's doing. It's just that he did not execute at times were really, really important late in the game last night. Dwayne Greenridge is here. Good to see good Raptor freak. Dwayne Greenridge on a Tuesday morning after a tough loss. Good morning, Raptor Freaks family. What a tough loss last night. Yeah, it was tough. And anybody who watched that whole game last night didn't do what a lot of people did. They didn't watch it. They watched on box score. Maybe they watched the first 5-10 minutes and they turned it off. Everybody who watched the game and stuck with it all the way through, you're my people. You're my people. Because a lot of people could not watch it, turned it off. And then there was some point in the game where it seemed like, all these people that turned the game off, they're going to miss something, because it did seem like that. We came back late in the game and had a lead. We had a really good lead. We had like an 8 or 9 point lead at one point. And no, it's like we couldn't score after that. We got that lead, and then boom, we scored 5 points for the rest of the game, and they beat us. It's really bad. It was tough to watch, but everybody who stuck through and watch it, you're my people. And then also, we almost got treated to a delightful outcome because we stuck with them. It could have happened, and it was that close. It really was pretty close. Philly didn't play that well, and that's part of what makes me mad too, is that they really didn't deserve to win. They didn't shoot that great last night, and they kind of were lucky they won last night. They really are in a lot of ways. They're catching the Raptors when they're not normal. We were a little bit more normal. We would have kicked their ass last night. We would have absolutely kicked their ass last night. Randolph Phillips is saying to our beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang, the loss was another heartbreaker. Let's get to the end of January before we draw any conclusions of giving up on our team. I like this. So Randolph Phillips is saying, all right, give them some time. Let's see where they're at before February. Let's see before the All-Star break. This is like you're saying this. The All-Star break's halfway through the season, and we're not even like a month. We're still over a month from the All-Star game, like almost 2 months from the All-Star game. So I think Randolph Phillips has got a good perspective here too. It's just I'm looking at what's more enticing, the two different routes, and it's not that I want to tank, y'all. It's just that if you don't have enough talent to match the other talent to win games consistently, well, then you will lose. And that's just how it goes. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Another winnable game that we allowed to slip away. I feel bad for Pascal. He was so determined. Masai and Bobby fix. Overtime was insulting. Should have given the ball to Pascal. There were so many different things they could have done better in overtime that they didn't do well enough. And I hate it. I hate it. Thad's saying, Thad should have stayed on in overtime. In my opinion, he was playmaking well. That's actually a pretty good option. In some ways, he was really, really helping. It was interesting lineups at times yesterday. They went very vet. Nick is really kind of showing more experience, and that's part of the reason why we played so well. He didn't start Koloko. I didn't agree with him not playing him at all, though. He should have played at least a little bit somewhere in there. And he did hold out Scotty at different periods of time to have a more capable veteran unit out there. We saw two different units in the game last night that I was like, wow, these are very capable, good units. One was Fred, Pascal, OG, Thaddeus, and Kem. That was in the first half. That unit was badass and very, very capable and vet. In the second half, it was Fred, Pascal, OG, Chris, and Thaddeus. And that team was very capable. And it had the four champion Raptors and Thaddeus Young out there. And they have such a good synergy because of time together between Chris, OG, Pascal, and Fred that they can actually run things on the court that actually look like the team's together. And I like those periods of time on the court when we're vet, we look connected, and we have experience. And that's part of the reason why I'm like, okay, we need to balance Koloko and Scotty and Delano and Gary with those kind of lineups too. That those kind of lineups really kind of give us stability and may actually be more capable than, if you have Scotty mixed in with four vets, that's fine. But when you have like 3 or 4 young players out there for the Raptors, it really gets fucked up in some ways. You have like a Delano, Scotty, and Christian out there all at the same time. It can be a little chaotic and not totally sound and running correctly, I've noticed. So more vet presence. Get Otto Porter Jr. back. He adds to this also. We just need more experience out there sometimes, that we're getting beat by not having experience. And I like that. All right, Boston sports. Everybody's coming to check on us. This is all these welfare checks from the other Atlantic teams. We've had Nets come in and check on us. Now we've got the Boston sports fan coming in too. He's saying, it's been rough. Celtics over the last 5. We are 1-4. Luckily, we are 22-9. I was checking out the Sixers versus Toronto game, and respectfully, it felt like I was watching bottom feeders. 7-game losing streak. Jesus Christ, man. All right, now you're not being nice. There's a difference between what you're saying and what Starscream said earlier. I have more respect for him, and this is why I hate Boston the most. Yeah, you know what? You're in a rough spot, and you still managed to come and like talk shit to us. You know, you just got beat by Orlando 2 games in a row in your home building. Did y'all play last night? I want to see if y'all played last night, because I want to talk some trash to you if you did, and if you lost. No, you didn't play last night. Okay. You know, look, you guys are on a rough stretch and your record's still good, but you're under Milwaukee now, I believe. Aren't you guys second now in the East? Yeah, you are. You're a half game behind Milwaukee now, so you're not number 1 anymore. So you know what? This is typical Boston bullshit. They get insecure. They were number 1 most of the season already. Now they've lost their top spot to Milwaukee. And what they do is they come and kick people lower than them. And this is exactly what Boston sports is doing right now. He called us bottom feeders. You call the Sixers bottom feeders too? Honestly, I'm going to be really enjoying the Sixers beating y'all's ass too. Like, seriously, I hate the Sixers, but I want to see the Sixers beat the Celtics ass, especially since you insulted both of our teams just now. And yeah, all right, Boston sports, you're getting a strike for that one. 2 more, and you're out. And we'll see. But yeah, way to be a big winner. And like, you know, it's like not. Anyway, I'm just going to let it go. He's feeling hurt from getting beat by Orlando twice in a row this weekend. That's what it is. Logical is saying, not gonna lie, they were collapsing on Spicy like 4-on-1 in the post. And we saw what happened. Turnovers and Spicy not being able to move without space. Like Giannis, they were sort of walling Spicy. Yeah, he was very much later in the game, walled out and doing. They did a good job in certain ways. You know, there were some things that Philly did last night that were very good, but they played ugly and they missed a lot of shots. And Random Gamers here, and we will talk to him since we got Sixer fan here too. There were things that they did that weren't very clean, and you know, in some ways, Boston sports is right. That I wouldn't call us bottom feeders though. They're both very talented teams. We have a lot of problems, and maybe we are heading towards being a bottom feeder. But Philadelphia is definitely not a bottom feeder. That's a good team, and they're going to do good stuff for the rest of the season. I'm really enamored with James Harden this year. I think that it's so crazy how much my opinion of James Harden has changed in the last 9 months. It is absolutely insane. Like, I really was down on him last season, and everything he did this summer was correct. And everything he's doing right now is badass. In some ways, I'm in awe of him because he's not even scoring. He's just this in the middle of everything in the Sixers team doing things right. And I am so impressed with him because he was never really a good team player in a lot of ways in his career. But later in his career now, he's realizing that this is the time to do it, and he's doing a good job. He was their highest plus minus. Plus 14 for the Sixers, 14 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, a steal, 5 of 14. So he didn't shoot that great. But yeah, just a solid game by James Harden and really the big engine, the reason why they played well. So let's see what a random gamer is saying. After the game, Tobias said, tell a friend to tell a friend I'm a sharpshooter. I don't know why, but I just found that to be so funny. You know, Tobias Harris had a huge game last night. And I do want to give him a little bit of shine. 7 of 9 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 21 points in 42 minutes. There's nothing to laugh at on that one. He actually was a huge part of why y'all won. In fact, that's the thing. If you look at the Raptors, we had Siakam doing things. And then on the other side, you had like Embiid doing what he does. You had Harden doing what he does. You had Harris doing what he does. You're getting good contributions from main important players on their side. And meanwhile, you just have Siakam's the best player in the game, but he has no supporting cast. That's what I'm saying. You see James Harden taking a role. He's a point guard at this point. You see Tobias Harris taking a role. I'm going to be the three-point shooter and knock these threes down to help my team win. And he really was like a sharpshooter last night. He deserves to say that. He is annoying. He bugs me. Tobias Harris was really bugging me last night. And him hitting those threes really hurt us. They really, really did hurt us. And he may have been the big factor in determining the game, because I said the difference in the box score really was the three-point shooting. And Tobias Harris is directly linked to that himself. So he's probably your best star of the game. I mean, Joel was pretty impressive in ways, but he had ugliness to his game too. He didn't shoot a good percentage, and him falling all around still always looks real ugly and stupid. And if Fred's hurt, if Fred's on the injury report this week, I'm going to be so mad. And I'm going to be like, Will Smith, Frankenstein, motherfucker, stop falling all over the place. Like, he literally undercut Fred, like, with his shoulder into his ankle. That's so dangerous and so wrong. Like, these are guys' livelihoods. They have kids. They have families. And this dude's trying to take food off the table from the Van Vliet family by putting him out? That's fucked up. Don't do that kind of shit, Joel. You need to look at the whole NBA as a brotherhood, that you guys are all against each other, sure, different teams, but you're also very similar and have the same kind of worries and fears and about your life and not getting hurt and wanting to play. Well, Joel, if you're a dangerous player and you're putting people's livelihood and their ability to play on the line because of how dangerous you are, fuck you. Because you're going to hurt players and put them out. And something ugly and bad is going to happen at some point. And it's going to be really, really, you're going to feel guilty about it. You're going to do something in your stupid fucking shit that you do. I've heard last night that you do it because you're worried about your knees getting hurt. It's so dumb. You need to stop. Because if you're a good citizen and a good NBA player to your fellow NBA players in this league, you're being dangerous and you're going to hurt someone. And it's really, really looking bad. Monique's saying, love the challenge by Nick Nurse too, Lex. Yeah, that one's going to be very interesting for my NBA challenge report. I'm going to do a coach's challenge report at some point. And that one last night may have been the best challenge I've ever seen done by any coach ever in the history of challenges so far that they've been doing the last few years. That Nick Nurse used his challenge in the most effective way ever by overturning 3 points, getting the ball, and getting a foul on Tobias Harris. I mean, on PJ Tucker, all that is very, very good. That is so good. And in fact, he did it the right way. And this is why I know Pat Fraher is a good referee, is because he looked at it and he's like, this is what happened. PJ Tucker obviously tripped Scotty, and that's why he rolled into the legs of Tobias Harris, and that's the right call. And Philly fan got mad. Oh my gosh! Of course they got mad. It's in their house. It's taking points off the board for them. I loved all that. There were little bits in the game that I was like, this is awesome. Pat Fraher, you are a brave man. Very, very brave. And if anything, that call on the challenge, they could have easily just said, no, you're wrong, denied. But no, he overturned it. And that was ballsy, and it was the right call. And it just reconfirmed that Pat Fraher is one of the good refs. He really is. Him and JT Orr are fantastic refs. They're really down the line and good refs. From everything I see from what they do, even though we lost last night, they're good refs. And Ashley wasn't bad. I thought Ashley was going to be bad, but she was very fair. She called some good travels on them for sure. So that was one of the greatest challenge calls ever in the history of the NBA. It was very effective. But you know what? On top of that, though, we get the ball, and what do we fucking do? We squander the possession and not execute and get a score off of it. It's like we get the ball back, but we don't take advantage of it and score. There's so many things we're not taking advantage of to be more effective scoring-wise, whether it's that botched fast break with OG and Scotty, whether it's not scoring off of an overturn with the challenge. It's like, fuck, you got the ball back. They erased the points. Now tie the game because you're only down by 3. Well, you couldn't do it. And that's part of it. It's like we're half executing right now. You get that great play, that overturn. Now you can't execute at the other end to get the score tied or at least down by 1. What the fuck? It's like we do a great defensive play. We get a steal. We go down the fast break, and boom, we can't execute on at that end. We play good defense, almost full 24-second clock, and then we foul someone at the very end of the 24-second clock. Or we play really good defense the whole entire time, and then they shoot a shot, they miss, but we don't secure the defensive rebound. The other team gets a second possession because they get in and get an offensive rebound. That's deflating. It's like half-ass shit. It's like, oh, you did this good, but you let your guard down instead of completing the next part of it that should be added on top of it and stacked on top of it. It's like you play the good defense the whole 24 seconds, but then you don't get the defensive rebound and they get a second shot, and then they make that a shot after that one. Well, what the fuck? It's no good. So there's a lot of missed opportunities and fuck ups after good stuff that erase the good stuff that happened. The good stuff can happen, but if you don't execute on top of it and get scores off of it, well, then what's the fuck? It doesn't help, you know? So, all right, let's see. Hot Take Jay saying Fred's shot has always been that way. You know, it's up and down, but he is really having a cold time right now. Like normally he's a little more consistent than this. And there is problems with his mechanics. It's very well documented right now that his mechanics are off. His shot is off. CJ Miles did a whole breakdown of what's wrong with Fred's jump shot right now recently on his podcast. So, you know, there's a couple of things going wrong with the shot as far as like the way he's not squaring up right. He's drifting when he shoots sometimes. Like he'll be moving over to the side and it's off that way. He's got to get back to the basics and just do what he does right. All right, let's see. David's saying Fred has always had a sideways spin on his shot from distance. They've been talking about it for the last 2 years. Yeah, but it looks really, really like normally I don't see it so bad, but right now it looks really crazy. And it's kind of like looping in weird ways and making the ball kind of like, I don't know. It's really bad. I don't like it. And I wish these guys would just shoot normal. Stop trying to spin this way or spin. You know, it should go up and over itself. It shouldn't be going horizontal. Like, I don't understand that, Chris Boucher. And in some ways, it's like, okay, I know Nick Nurse has the philosophy is let these guys just naturally shoot the way they naturally want to shoot. But in some ways, you need to get them better fundamentals for how they shoot shots also. You know, spins that go like, woo, like this and like this are not fundamentally good shots. Because you think about the inertia of the ball. If you're spinning horizontally, it's going to go off the rim. Like you hit if you don't get it right through the net, Chris Boucher, you're going to hit the side of the rim. You're going to go shooting off like it's an amusement park ride. And same thing for Fred. If it's going tumbling over itself like diagonally, well, if you hit the ball of the rim in a certain way, it's not going to bounce in the right way to actually have a better chance to go up and get the nice soft touch and to fall through. And so it's really annoying. And you're right. I think that Fred has shot like this for a while, and I just haven't really paid attention because it hasn't been a factor in why he's missing. But I think it is now. Seymour saying we can't stop the ball point blank, period. Yeah, this is a problem. We can transition. We're not finding. This is another thing and reason why we don't have a point guard. Point guards find the ball carrier and they dog them on the way across the court. And often we're losing guys in transition and they're just bringing the ball right up the lane and getting layups. And we need to meet the ball. This is a very fundamental, basic basketball rule on defense is come and stop the ball and meet the ball. And we're not even doing that. Some possessions, guys just go right down the lane and lay it up. And that's really bad. And once again, I say that's because we have a lack of a point guard mentality on this team. The point guard on defense should do that. Stop the ball carrier and impede them from coming through and just coming down real easy. Now, sometimes we do good. Mr. 94 feet, Scotty Barnes, hounding people all up and down the court. That's the good time. But there's often times we're there in a transitional break and we're not communicating or we're not talking enough. And then booms, guys are getting behind us and doing backdoor layups because we didn't know somebody was back there. Guys are going right through our guys and they're just standing around and they're just laying it up. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And Seymour's right. We need to find the ball and stop it when it's coming down the court in transition. Click saying our half court offense is putrid. It's almost unwatchable or insanely predictable. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's very ugly basketball. It's definitely very ugly basketball. I mean, listen, in some ways, it's like, I love this team no matter what. But like I said, some of it is very comical. It's extremely comical. And it's not that I hate the team or want to laugh at them. But in some ways, when things are so bad, you just have to laugh and be like, oh, my gosh, of course they're going to miss this. But we got to root for them and think positive and know that things are going to get better. They will. And I really like that people on here are very much saying, don't give up. And let's wait until like the end of January. because it's smart. It is a very smart way to think about it, Seymour, different people for sure. Seymour's also saying walk down threes. The Raps can't guard the three and can't break a 3-2 zone. Yeah, the zone is stupid. Like how bad we are against the zone. I don't understand this. How can we not get more zone busting and figure this out? I really like what the fuck is wrong with our team? What is wrong with us? It's crazy. All right, Boston retracted a message. I'll bet that might have been the second strike. Let's see. Let's see. I jumped a lot. I see there's a lot of stuff here. I like this. This is good. We got to talk all this out. We got to talk all this out for sure. Oh, wow. You guys got a lot. I'm going to make sure I get everything. Okay. Callie saying click. I agree. Too much standing around iso ball and lack of passing. The teammates are teammates. You got to use your teammates, play off each other. You guys are really like in video games, when you have like a fighting party, you want to get teammates that have like things that help each other. And then because they work together, you get a bonus and you're fighting against whatever party you're fighting, like in an RPG or something like that. You want to have a party that has two players that maybe have like a synergy, that they get together and boom, they're way more powerful because of that than being just individual, like shooting whatever they shoot in the game by themselves. You want those kind of matchups and synergies between two players, where if you see two players that like to play with each other, like a Fred VanVleet, Christian Coloco connection, you go and develop it more. You look at it more. Why don't we see Fred and Christian play more and try and work with each other and do things? Why don't we see OG working with Scotty in this way more? That's the kind of stuff we need more. Synergy. And I really like the idea of what I had earlier. Is like before the game, let's do passing drills, Nick. Seriously, or spend a whole practice just working on connection between players. It is so important. Connection. Feeling connected and getting connected and having second nature connection really helps teams that have played together for a long time and really know where each other are going to be and know each other's preferences and what they're more inclined to do. That all helps and really is a part. Like one of the things about NBA teams back in the day was it was really important to pass and move the ball around. We're not doing that. Like there's some fundamental stuff from back in the day we're just not doing correctly at this point. And I hate it. I hate it so much. Cool Cat saying Sixers build a Pascal wall like we did to Giannis. Teams continue to do this and ignore the other players. If teams figure shut down Pascal, Raptors will lose for sure. Well, if they're going to do this, Nick needs to have another plan to help another player get going and be that other person. And it could be that other person does so well that they got to start leaving Pascal. And then boom, we go back to Pascal and all of a sudden things are easier for him. Once again, this game is all about adjustments. And if we're not adjusting to the teams putting a wall up on Pascal, then we're fucking up. We need to make an adjustment, Nick. You need to recognize what they're doing that's effective against us and change things. Go to the next logical thing in basketball theory that beats the next thing. And if it's the wall on Pascal, well, that means you need to be going OG, Scotty, and Fred and really mean going for them and doing it. Logical saying Fred VanVleet's shot has always had a diagonal spin. Look at old tape, Lex and Random Gamer. That's funny only to me because he makes a 26% max, and that's way more than most our guys other than Spicy at 28. You're talking about 3-pointers. See, that's still too low. If I want 30 to 40% shooters at three. That's way too low. If we have that, that's how bad our 3-point shooters. Nobody's shooting over 30%. That's crazy. Seymour saying, what is the team record for most losses in a row? Whoa, we can go way back, Seymour. And I know we've lost like 10 or so, maybe 12 in a row way early in like the expansion years. We don't want to go for that record. We definitely don't want to go for that record. We do not. Let's see. G saying Boston, he doesn't extend out and Tatum does the same thing. Everyone knows Tatum pushes off. Okay, I don't know. That was probably from the comment he took away. Let's see. Nameless saying, I don't think we're playing as bad as it seems. I mean, these are really close games against upper echelon teams. Echelon. Yes, I agree, Nameless. I agree with everything you're saying here. It really isn't as bad as it seems. To somebody who's just like casual, they're going to see the scores and they're going to be like, wow, the Raptors really suck. They keep losing close games. But they're not investigating or figuring out why or seeing it, then, we are closer to than we are very close to figuring this out and getting everything right again. We really are. It may not seem like that to people because we're failing so miserably right now, but we are this close to being back on the winning side of things again. Trust me, we really are. We're very close to it. They would have gotten it last night. They wanted it so bad, but they didn't get that satisfaction yet. So they're still hungry. And when they go on Wednesday to New York, watch. They're going to play very different. They're going to be very good on Wednesday. Watch. I'm going to predict it right now. We're going to win against the Knicks. I'm going to say it right now. We're going to beat the Knicks on Wednesday. We're going to end their streak, and we're going to end our streak also. It's just a balance of law of averages. New York's feeling too high to my. It's time for the Raptors to come knock them down a peg and get some good feelings for themselves. It's just that kind of thing. Fun guy said it yesterday. I feel good about the game last night. And yeah, you should. And we did have the opportunity to take it, and we should have. Everything you said was right. It's just we did poor execution late. Well, I feel like we're going to get it on New York. Fun guy saying, actually, Alvin is so much better now, and he's grown on me. At first, he would gobble his words and shit, but he's cool now. Yeah, he wasn't as clear with his delivery. There was a lot of stumbles. He was kind of hard to understand at times because it didn't make sense what he said, but he's really worked on it and he's more comfortable. You can tell. And he's not being as much of a jerk either. He's being much more humble. He was very arrogant at times. He can be arrogant at times, but for the most part, he was very humble. And I could tell there was something special about Alvin doing the game last night in Philadelphia. That's always special for him, being his hometown. But once again, he's doing the Toronto broadcast, and a lot of people in Philadelphia think he's a turncoat. So in some ways, he's very ballsy, like Pat Fraher, to be back there calling the game for the Raptors in Philadelphia's arena. But yeah, he's honestly, he's really impressing me. Seymour saying Alvin will always be a legend in Toronto for sure. He always will be. I've been so lucky to meet him twice, and he's just a really nice guy. Him and I are about the same height. He's not that much taller than me. We're very close in height. He's just a little bit taller than me. Monique saying, how can you not be encouraged with this game down the stretch? Lots to take from this. Yeah. Monique is saying it right. I like that. Mike saying Alvin was truth bombing. Tons of real basketball stuff. Tons of truth. High IQ truth. And he even touched on Thad and confirmed my Thad series a bit. Alvin has definitely gotten better on the mic. He's just real, and he has real experience, and it's just fun, like in hindsight, to hear some of the stuff about what happened when he was playing, like stuff I had no idea was going on like back then. Like Kevin Willis won't let them listen to rap music in the locker room. Kenny saying, my choice of reporter is now working for Miami Heat. Not a big fan of Alvin, but he's getting better. You like Amy Audibert. And you miss Amy Audibert. She's down there with the Miami Heat now. Yeah, well, hopefully she's doing good. Miami's getting a little bit better in the standings. They're a little bit moving up right now. Randolph saying, Alex, what was wrong with that basketball they played with last night? At the beginning of the game, it seemed like no one on either team could hold on to it. I was hoping they changed it. You're talking about the actual basketball they were using? I don't know. I mean, I didn't notice anything too abnormal. It just seemed like the ball was just like moving around, and maybe there was a little bit of jitters and nerves about playing each other. That is a matchup now that's kind of a grudge match. There was a bit of physicality. There was a bit of a playoff feel to the game just because that's who we just played in the playoffs, and there is still kind of like old business still to be finished. So, there may have been a little bit of that kind of jitters that are normal for like a playoff game instead, just because the matchup was so important. I know Scotty in particular going to Philadelphia, that's a big place for him now because Embiid stepping on his ankle and the way the series went last year, he really hated losing to the Sixers. And I think in some ways he really, really wants to get back against them. So, but he didn't show it last night. I don't know what was up with Scott. He really could have stepped up a lot more. He was 3 of 9 shooting, 0 for 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 points, -2 for the game in 30 minutes. That's just not enough. But I do know that he was held out for stretches of the game when we wanted to go more vet. And he did have to sit on the bench for good chunks of the game. But still, he has to establish himself for at least some period of the time where he goes and scores and does a whole bunch of stuff. And one thing we didn't see last night, and this may be because of Embiid, we didn't see him try and do a lot of his low post stuff in the lane last night like he did the night before against the Warriors. He wasn't trying to go down there. So it was an interesting game for him. It wasn't a good game. but he'll learn from it. And I'm sure he has regrets about some of the things he didn't take opportunities to do last night. And especially in the film session today, he's probably seeing it as like, oh crap, I had that and I should have done that. I should have done this there. And he'll realize the moments where he can be more aggressive and make good things happen for the Raptors. It's just sometimes he's not taking them. David's saying, I'm here for more than just the trivia. Just the 5-minute delay makes the stream impossible. And the other components in the chat about Fred and Pascal and everything else makes me want to rip my hair out. Okay, David, I know you're here watching more often. And I didn't mean to say that when I said I'll see you at trivia. It's just I didn't see you last week. And Shanky's getting a little closer, but you're still got a good lead. And yeah, I know you're watching other times too. And I'm listen. We're all entitled to our own opinions on different things. I want you to if you don't like Alvin, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Starscream saying still 50 plus games left. Remember, the Celtics were like 22-28 at one point, then went on a crazy run last year. Anything is possible. I appreciate that coming from a Nets fan. I seriously do. I mean, seriously, it's weird. We've got 4 of the Atlantic Division teams here represented today. And it's so crazy that this happens. Of course, it's when we're down. We're down and out, and everybody's showing up. But once again, I do appreciate you guys being mostly respectful. Even you, Boston Sports. I'd see your comment in a little bit. And I appreciate, I'm just like, I'm very hurt animal right now, and I will lash out because I'm very pissed about things. And I don't want other teams to come in and rub it in our face in some ways. I don't mind having this discourse about basketball in a real way, but this isn't also like I want to be a sitting duck sitting here and letting people just come at me and just like tear me down just because the team's going bad and stuff. So there's a balance here. We got to be fair, and we can talk about it all and stuff, but I hate words like bottom feeder. It's like, and that's really insulting to Random Gamer and the Sixers, honestly, because they're doing better than us, and they're not a bottom feeder team for sure. But they didn't play well last night. I will admit that. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I think Fred VanVleet is dealing with that injury issue still. It's causing alignment issues affecting his shot. I feel bad for him because he knows he is needed badly at this time. Our young vets are trying. It's a perfect storm of a lot of different things all at once. And, like people say, we can make excuses. It just is what it is. It is what it is. And it's going to be what it is. Country Kong saying pregame passing drills is a great idea. Yeah, isn't it, Country Kong? I mean, why aren't we doing something like that? They're going to do a little weave and do a little like get that synergy going before the game. It's like something you see in Hoosiers, the old movie with Gene Hackman, doing some of those weave drills, doing different things like that. Nick, get innovative and get back to the basics. This is what an old coach would do, is get some more passing drills going on in practice. You guys practice rebounding, practice shooting like crazy. Well, maybe y'all need some more passing drills also, just to cultivate some more teamwork. Mike saying, when Fred VanVleet gets too tired, his shot becomes wild. His shooting, playmaking, and the most important thing is defending the pick and roll and making rotations for others, missing their rotations. He can only help so much. I agree with what Mike's saying. And he was looking tired. We got to remember also, they played the Warriors on Sunday night. At a certain point in the second half, it looked like our players were hitting an energy wall. It very much looked like they were all very gassed, and they kept going. And that may have been part of why their offense was so futile in the last 10 minutes of the game in overtime and fourth quarter, is that they were just fucking tired from, flying here and playing the night before. Meanwhile, Philadelphia had not played since Friday. They had 2 days off and they were fresh. So there's a lot of different reasons for why we look so gassed late. And maybe Fred didn't have his legs under him for his jump shot. So Denial saying, miss you, Lexi. I feel like your energy's been off. Hope the Raptors aren't affecting you that badly. Laugh out loud. Not really. I mean, listen, I used to, like when I was younger, I would get really upset when the Raptors would be losing. And I learned the hard way in some ways that you don't do that. You need to just be like keeping it separated to a degree. And that's part of the reason why I lost my marriage. It's because the Raptors losing and me being an alcoholic and being depressed and off. That's a hard way to learn that you can't let it affect your real life too much. losing a marriage. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. I have other things to look forward to right now. My parents are about to arrive in Toronto tomorrow, and they'll be here for Christmas with me here. And that'll be really nice, considering I haven't spent a Christmas with them in a couple years now, not since before the pandemic. That every single time has been screwed up by surges. I was supposed to go there last year. I couldn't go last year. I was here for Christmas by myself. And this year they're coming to see me here. And so that'll be really nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing them tomorrow. So, or not, if I don't see them tomorrow, I'll see them Thursday because they're flying in tomorrow. So I've got things to look forward to and good distractions. So it's no big deal. All right. Monique's saying, happy to see Cam out there for a bit. Not much, but it's still something. You never know what one win can do for a season. Can be a fulcrum. It could be a turning point. It can be something that really changes things. Let's look at Kem Birch. 23 minutes, 1 of 3 shooting, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 points. He was a +6. Him and Fred were our highest pluses on our team. And, Fred being a +6 with all the things that happen and why we're like kind of mad at him, really proves Mike's point that he does so many good things for us on the court other than shooting that are so essential and important. So I agree with Logical Raptors Fanatics last statement that it is so important, everything. You can't do everything. Now, Kem was fantastic, and it really is like he's just a good wall. He's just a good like impeding force for players that are kind of trying to come in our basket. You can see what he does whenever he's on the court. As far as look at what he's doing to Embiid, look what he's doing. Like when guys come towards our basket, he's meeting them. He's a gate. He's a defender. He gets in their way. He does not allow easy stuff. And that's the big difference between him and rookie Christian Koloko is that, he gets in between the player and the basket before they try and get to the basket. And that's so important and essential for us. And he gets hit too. He takes licks for doing that also. Fun guy saying, told you, bro, Nick Nurse is failing. He takes a timeout, last 4 seconds to try and tie it and calls no play. Instead gives it to Pascal for a mere ISO play with no more movement, shaking my head. I wonder though, like, what if he is calling a play and these guys are disregarding it, or the play got broken by Philly and doing something and they go to their backup plan? There's a lot to it. There could be a play that they're playing. I know that I'm saying, oh, they don't call plays, but they may actually be calling plays. And it's just the option in the play is the ISO and that we're going funneled to that. I don't know. I don't think that Nick Nurse is failing himself. I think the team it's like a collective thing in different ways. I just want him to be innovative and not be afraid to do things that are crazy, like passing drills. Boston saying, just looking at the Rap schedule, and boy, oh boy, if you don't beat the Knicks after that, it's the Cavs, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, the Suns. Do you see this losing streak possibly getting up to 14 games? I don't think it'll get that much. Man, you're really kind of like, listen, everything you're doing here right now, Boston sports, speaks to your insecurity. You have no reason to be here right now. I don't think we're playing you guys again until like months from now. And like, seriously, you could be just like happy and have things going in Boston world the way they're going. You don't need to be here and be talking to us about this. In fact, it betrays that you're insecure is what's going on here. So, I mean, listen, yeah, we know what our schedule is for the rest of this month. But the one thing is all those West teams are home games. So look, we can catch one of them on a back-to-back. Maybe they go and play you guys, and then they come and play us the next night. In some of these situations, we may have a chance to beat the Clippers, the Grizzlies, or the Suns. And going to New York tomorrow, like I said, is going to be a good opportunity to try and help get out of this losing streak. The Cavs game is going to be a little more tougher on Friday, but we can still win there too. We've actually beaten the Cavs twice this year already. So it's like, I mean, look, you can try and paint some sort of like awful road for us to go down, but you don't have any fucking thing to do with this. And in a lot of ways, it's like, okay, go ahead and just talk your shit. But once again, I'll tell you, your presence here just in that way, and you saying shit like this just betrays that you're insecure about your own team. So yeah, okay, I get it now. I figured it out. Eric's saying we need a stretch big who can drain threes like Vucevic. So their big heaves, their big leaves the basket and opens things up. Last real one we had was Ibaka. Okay, good to see Eric Jacob. Eric Jacob, man, I miss you. You're like, you pop in every once in a while, just here and there. I know you're probably watching us. I know you're in a weird time zone, so it's a weird time for you to be watching. But I really do appreciate that you're still keeping up with the channel and that you're here. You're somebody from the original, from the beginning. And I need to give you respect for that, for sure. Okay, so you want to stretch big that can drain threes like Vucevic. So their big leaves the basket and opens things up. Last real one we had was Ibaka. Koloko's got a bit of a three-point shot in development, and he may get this down the road. This may be something that isn't on its way. It'd be nice if Cam, if Thaddeus, if these guys were shooting more threes and making them. I know maybe that was part of what Nick Nurse tried to do with Wancho starting last night. That maybe he was hoping that him being a three-point shooter. But once again, Wancho's just not being found or aggressive enough to get shots off. He cannot just shoot 4 shots for the whole entire game. You're a starter. You need to be contributing offensively. You need at least 10 shots, Wancho. And I don't know if he only played 14 minutes. He didn't play as much as he could have last night, but he needs to get more shots. And maybe he's that three-point shooting, like center kind of player. Like if he's playing at center, he started at center last night. He could have done it, but I think you're right, Eric. In some ways, that would be a plan that could help us, and we just don't have that kind of player like Vucevic. But yeah, okay. Toby's here. All right, let's see what Toby's saying. I'm back, letting you know that we're just not that good. Well, Toby, thank you for your daily reminder. I love it. Like, listen, we're so bad that everybody wants to come in here and let us know. We know we're not that good. We do know this already, but I appreciate you, Toby. You've been not that bad lately. Like you're a kind of a half troll, but you're not really. I know that you are actually a Raptor fan, but you're maybe a little more cynical than some of us, and that's fine. Mike's saying ISO ball from mismatch hunting, but also when one guy is spending energy on offense, gives us the energy for defense. So now at the moment with the overspent guys, they need ISO plays to rest, but when healthy, less ISO, in my opinion. Okay. So Mike is saying the reason why we're playing so much ISO is because we're gassed. There's so many things that don't go well when your team is just tired and worn out. There's like whether you don't have your legs like Fred at the end of the game, whether you can't do certain things in certain ways. Maybe you have to expend so much energy on the defensive end that you have no energy to play offense. There's a lot going on like that. And I think Mike's right. We get more guys back, we get more healthy. Then a lot of these problems are easier because there's just more hands on deck. Name was saying Embiid being a goon, diving around at people's knees again. I know. I mean, I have no respect for him. I can like some of the Sixers players. I really like James at this point. I like Tyrese Maxey, but I absolutely despise Joel Embiid. I think that he really is a danger to this game, to people. And like, oh man, it's really bad. Something bad's going to happen at some point, and he's going to get called out for this, and it's going to be like a really tragic story that happens. And I don't want to. I don't want it to have to get to that point. I want them to get him to rein in his fucking out of control body to a degree. Nobody else is doing this, falling around all like he is, and initiating contact with players that aren't even close to the play. That whole thing that happened with Fred was just really fucked up and really bad. Starscream saying it's okay that you have animosity towards the Nets. I have none towards the Raptors. Laugh out loud. We beat you guys in one series and you beat us in one series, so it's 1-1. Yeah, and I don't. It's not even that I have animosity towards you guys. You guys are a division rival. In some ways, it's like the whole thing. The history of the things with the Raptors and the Nets are interesting. We have the whole fuck Brooklyn thing from way back. The issues with what happened back then when you guys had like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett at that time. It was a weird team. That we hated them back then a lot more than we do now in some ways. The way that we swept you guys in that bubble series was really nice. And it kind of exercised a lot of the huge venom that we have towards you guys. But also at the same time, it's like, look, I see what happens with you guys the last couple of years with your big 3 experiment, and it fails miserably. I'm like, yeah, of course all of us are going to be like that. Philly fan, Celtics fan, Raptor fan. We're going to be like, yeah, the Nets with their big 3 failed. And that was nice to see. But now, in some ways, look, I also am an underdog kind of guy. And I see, like, I hate when people are having a hard time, and I like to see comeback stories. And in some ways, what's happening with the Nets right now is a comeback story. And I appreciate it to a degree. I appreciate that Kevin's getting some good things to happen for him, that I appreciate that, they're coming together and actually playing well together, because they could have just been a dumpster fire again this year, like I predicted, but they're not. They're actually very effective, good Eastern Conference team at this point. And I do give respect where it's deserved. I mean, the Celtics have been the number one team in the East until recently, and I had to respect that, even if I hated it. And I have to respect what the Nets have done this season in turning things around. It looked real bad at the beginning of the season with all kinds of controversies. With it, Kyrie was a horrible controversy. The Kevin thing this summer, there's all kinds of things. And the fact that y'all have righted the ship and you guys are rolling now, you've won 9 of your last 10, is fantastic in some ways. And it's admirable, even if I hate that it's happening to another team. I can look at it and respect it and be like, wow. And it really is a divisional rivalry. And in some ways, I don't hate your team too much. I hate your team, yeah, but I don't hate the players on it. I really am a big fan of Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant's an amazing player, and I've always kind of been like a fan of his since Oklahoma City days. I hated what he did going to Golden State. I do think he's a snake, and I don't agree with some of the things he's done in his career. But I also have to really, really enjoy and like him as a basketball fan. The way he plays is just really enjoyable. And Kyrie, how can I hate Kyrie basketball-wise right now, even though he's killed us in the games this year against you guys? I have to respect that and say that dude is good, even if I can't stand him outside the game as far as like what he stands for and some of the things he's doing. So it's weird. It's weird. My relationship with the Nets is in the best place it's been in years right now. And it really is because I enjoy a comeback story. And in a lot of ways, I do want Kevin to succeed. I do want Kevin to get another championship. In some ways, I do. It's weird. I don't know why. And maybe it's just because I want him to have more of an argument in the greatest of all time arguments with LeBron and other people, that he's not going to get it if he doesn't get another championship. He will not be in that echelon with Kobe and Michael and LeBron if he doesn't win one more time. So there's a lot to it. It's complicated. And we the playoffs have been fun with you guys recently. They weren't so fun in the early 2010s. No, they weren't. Isaac saying that this reminds me of the time we traded DeMar. Our offense is reminiscent of those days. Yeah, I mean, there's weird trades going on, all kinds of speculation. People on Twitter are crazy with these trades they're posting right now. A lot of them have Jakob Poeltl coming back to Toronto, which I love, which would come back from the that trade that you're talking about, Isaac. Kareem Thomas is saying Gary Trent Jr. wins Fit of the Year by a landslide. Good vibes only, and it's still fuck the Knicks. Yeah, I love this. Kareem Thomas is MVP on this channel. I love his comments. Usually they're fantastic. Gary Trent looking like he's in a Sergio Leone movie with Clint Eastwood, looking like he is one of either the good, the bad, or the ugly. I don't know. Right now we're the ugly. We're definitely the ugly. But yeah, Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Get out there and fancy. Yeah, he looked like a desperado right now. Alvin said at one point, is he wearing a rug? Like, it's like, he said this at the craziest time, too. It was late in the game, and it's kind of tense. He's like, guys, I don't want to take away from the broadcast. And I don't, I know this game's intense, but what the hell is Gary Trent Jr. wearing? Is what Alvin said at one point during the game. It was hilarious. And he's like, is he wearing a carpet? Is he wearing a rug? I thought that look was so cool, man. It was so cool. It looked like he had a gun underneath it. Like he was ready, just like a 6-shooter. You draw. Maybe he heard one of the refs' favorite movie was Tombstone, and he wanted to make it feel a little more like Tombstone in there. I don't know. It was crazy. That fit was nice, though. I'm with you, Kareem. The fit of the year, I might go with that. Gary's been very, very, like in this recent time when he's been out, what he's been wearing has been crazy lately. Like the last couple games. Last night was the best one, though. You're right. And yeah, fuck the Knicks, fuck the Nets, fuck the Sixers, fuck the Celtics. We just got to do that. We're in the Atlantic Division. That's what we do. Country Kong saying net season over at least we have our pick. Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens. I mean, the Nets have all kinds of crazy like no draft picks because of all the deals they've been doing. So there's certain teams just aren't going to participate in this great draft this year. And we're still in there. Logical saying Kareem, Alvin called it a carpet. I thought it looked like a carpet. It did look a little bit like a carpet, But like I said, it looked like he just needed a cowboy hat. He could have came out there and be the outlaw Josie Wales. The way he was looking out there, outlaw Josie Wales. I loved it. Monique saying on a funnier note, was Gary wearing a rug? It's not a rug on the head, no toupee. No, it was like maybe a rug that you wipe your feet off when you come into the house. Yeah. Sue saying, good morning, everyone. Definitely a tough game, but even when we lose, we are learning some things and we are developing. Nice to see OG back. Yeah, that's always what it is. There's in losing, there's learning. And there's this is the tough lessons. It's like, look, lose 6 games in a row, Scotty Barnes, and feel how that feels. Feel it. Really feel it and understand it. And never forget how bad this feels, because it'll change how you play for the rest of your life. It'll be like, I don't ever want to feel this ever again. And you'll avoid it at all costs by playing at an optimal level and playing the best basketball you can in your whole entire career. Scotty Barnes, you remember losing these games in December of 2022, how bad these Raptors losing streaks were now in this present time. And then like in the years to come, when we dominate and we're so much a top team in the league and we're badasses, you'll look back and you'll remember it all came to me when we were losing in December of 2022, how bad it was and how much I hated it. And I decided I never want to be like this again. And he made sure himself, because he's that kind of player. That's what I'm saying. This kind of stuff could be that kind of like shaping and molding of those young guys. It's like, fuck, this sucks. I hate this so much. This is really bad. I don't want to go through this. I'm going to avoid it. Starscream saying at CountryCon, we have 2 picks. What do you mean? Rockets have a worse record than us. They aren't switching picks, and we own Philly's pick. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's right, because they did the trade with Simmons and Harden. They actually got some stuff back. So, okay. But even then, I don't care about all that. It's like, that it doesn't matter, the pick thing. I mean, I don't know. Let's see where these picks end up being, though. Country Kong saying, yeah, but our pick will be top 10. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A generational draft. You guys will go to the playoffs and might get swept once again. For you, that sounds like fun. But for us, it's championship or tank. That's it. Yeah, Country Kong, we haven't totally decided this yet, though. We may be still going for a championship this year. We may be playing zombie, like dead. Like we may pop up all of a sudden and be like, just like we do in games, where we may be down by 15 and then all of a sudden we're right back and like within like a point or two of the other team. Yeah, we're that kind of team. And we may do that with the season too. We may look down and out and dead in the water, and then boom, all of a sudden we rise up and we start winning games again. And then boom, it's like, yeah. So I wouldn't say it's for sure that we're going to be tanking this year or being a bad team, because we still have time to get out of this. There's a lot of time to go. Let's see. Starscream saying top 10. That's not guaranteed. There's already 8 teams with a worse record than you guys, and the Lakers are only half game ahead of y'all for 9. All right, now I'm going to answer this 2 ways, Starscream. Don't underestimate our ability to possibly lose a lot more and get further down. And also, don't underestimate the Raptors' luck in lotteries. We actually do really well with the ping pong. So even if we're like 8th worst or 7th worst, we may get a top 4 pick still, just like what happened with Scotty. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, there is no guarantees. Starscream is right about that. There's no guarantees on any of this. Nothing in this season. That's why we all have to play it out and see what happens and see who's holding the Larry Bryant at the end and who's holding a Wemby trophy at the end too. Paul B saying, so when is Precious coming back? We need some healthy guys. They're saying around New Year's, and they're saying it'll probably be after New Year's. It's not likely that he'll show up for these last games in 2022, that he'll be showing up in one of the games in the next year early on. I don't think it'll be that much further on. And yeah, we really need him, Paul. You're right. Monique saying OG had 13 points. He was getting all the rust off, feeling good forward, and his shooting didn't miss a beat to me, in my opinion. That's true. OG picked up from where he left off and actually shooting better than when he got hurt. He wasn't shooting well in the last couple of weeks before he got hurt, and now he's shooting again all of a sudden better. And this is fantastic, because it was a real problem at that time that OG wasn't shooting well during our slump recently. But now it seems like he's back. As far as shooting more capably for 3 in particular. It's the 3-point shot that he wasn't saying. It's all good, Boston sports. You said respectfully. I know what's up. Like I said, listen, dude, you don't need to be here. I know you may enjoy my channel and stuff, but like seriously, it's a weird coincidence. Like I've noticed this about Boston fan. that they'll come and dump or come at other teams when they're kind of a little shaky themselves. And I'm not going anywhere to y'all's sites and doing this with you guys. Like, I don't go to Philly Nation's channel. I don't go to Boston's Nation channel. So it's an inverse. This is our home. This is where we're at. So you're coming in and talk to us. And in some ways, just like in some ways, some Celtic fans may tell you Boston sports just by like acknowledging us. It kind of is like a bad. You shouldn't even do that. You should probably just like, yeah, let them just be who they are. They're a dumpster fire. We can ignore them. We have bigger fish to fry, like the Milwaukee Bucks, like the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Raptors aren't really your nemesis at this point. We may be a historical nemesis and a divisional foe, but you should be really directing your energy towards Milwaukee and Cleveland more right now. The top of the division with you, the top of the standings with you. And stop worrying about us. Although you may just find the entertainment on this channel so good. And that's why you're here. I get that. All right. I appreciate it. It's all good. It's all good. We're all family. And once again, I see all the other three teams right in a row. We got Boston, Philly, and Brooklyn right in a row. I love it. Random Gamer saying, when Joel drops 40 and 15 on the Celtics, there won't be anything to say anymore. See, I like this. Let's get the other Atlantic Division teams talking trash on our channel between themselves. Like, yeah, and let's see what Starscream's saying. Laugh out loud. When you say respectfully and then post disrespect, it doesn't count. I know that's true. That's true what Starscream's saying here too. And it says, look, Brooklyn Nets fan is standing up for Raptors Nation against Boston fan right now. Hilarious. That's crazy. But yeah, it's all good, guys. And it's all love. Once again, the most important thing is it's amazing that we have a Boston, a Philly, and a Brooklyn fan with us on a Raptors channel right now. And it's almost like a peace summit. It's like we're all being like friendly and trying to be fair and respectful, even if we're not totally. And it's great. I love it. It's fantastic. It's an aspect of this channel I did not think would happen. I really thought we would only get Raptors people, but we're getting other people from other teams, and there's no problem with that. I have no problem with that. Okay, Denial, I'm not going to read your comment because it's just going to add to the flames, but everybody can read what Denial said. Because it's like, I don't need to say it. I think you can read it. It's hilarious. But it is kind of true, too. Mike saying, Paul B, New Year update. Last time I heard, so we'll know more then. Yeah, talking about Precious. Cool Cat saying, Pascal had 2 bad nights of the season, and that was after injury. He had 19 points in both games, minimum 5 assists. So that is a consistent at least. Well, even if the last couple games before the one last night, he didn't step up enough, though, to help Scotty and Freddie. Like, he may have had like 18 something points, but he didn't get that many points in some of those games. He was very much in the teens, and I wanted just a little bit more from him. It's almost like, all right, Pascal does so good last night. We just need a little bit more from Fred last night, or a little bit more from Scotty. And then in the Warriors game, okay, Freddie and Scotty did this, but we just need a little bit more from Pascal. That's what I'm saying. It's like they're trading nights for when, all right, huge game by Pascal last night, but where the fuck is Scotty and Freddie to step up and be a second banana and helping? That's what I'm saying. We need to get a couple of guys every single night. We can't just have one guy or 2 guys. Sometimes it's going to have to be 3 or 4 big contributors. And the big stat that I'm looking at right now is how many players on the Raptors are getting in double digits scoring. You see a team get like 6 or 7 guys to get double digit scoring. That's healthy. That's good. When you see a team with only like 2 or 3 guys getting double digits in scoring, that is extremely bad. And that is going to be losing. You're going to lose when your box score looks like that. So you need to flesh out the box score with double digit scores to like 6 or 7 of them. That more guys have to be involved and more have to be contributing. And we're not getting that right now. That's a huge part of why we're losing right now. Excuse my throat. The challenge took the and 1 shot too. So 3 points and 1 and into a 0 fouls. I know that challenge was brilliant and amazing, Mike. It was so good. Monique saying, enjoyed seeing Pascal get underneath PJ's skin. Yeah, there was a little bit of shit talking, a little bit of continuation from the last time we played them and when they were talking so much. And PJ felt like he had to get some get back against him. You could tell he's angry at Pascal. And maybe because he looked bad after the last time we played and he owned him and he talked so much trash. PJ was a little bit like, I'm going to get you back last night. You could tell there was a lot of animosity there. Cool Cat saying, I think Flynn missed an opportunity to show up and hit those pro-am threes. We need to build the team around Pascal with offensive movement. Everyone's standing around and 4 defenders blocking Pascal. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if there's 4 guys on Pascal, he needs to find the other guys. He did get 6 assists last night, but he could get more if he's getting doubled so much. Mike saying Fred spins the ball like a frisbee and has a straight path for the arc. He has to put it in being short and shooting over tall guys. As for Boucher, that's why it's important to mold that form early. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. The horizontal spins. And also Logical saying the max comment was about Tobias making 26% max. Oh, you're talking about money. I thought you were talking about 3-point shooting. All right. Yeah, it's confusing. You really got to baby me. Spell it all out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You were talking about money. I thought you meant 3-point shooting percentage. OG and Gary, 18 million. Okay. I don't want to get bogged down in money. I don't really talk about money on here too much or contracts. That's good stuff for your channel, but I hate talking about money. I just in general, I hate talking about money. But yeah, I'm not going to get into like the contract or salary cap stuff. That's really a weakness for me as far as like what I do on this channel. Monique saying, hey, Lex, predict Champagne's points tonight as he's been on a roll as of late. All right, Justin Champagne playing against Texas, G League Showcase in Las Vegas tonight. You know what? I will guess that Justin's going to get 38 points and maybe like 20 rebounds. 38 points, 20 rebounds for Justin Champagne tonight. I'd love to see that. Randolph saying, yes, the ball was bouncing a lot and seemed greasy. I don't know. I didn't notice anything more myself than normal, Randolph, but maybe you're right. Respectfully. Okay, Boston. All right. It's really funny. Cool Cat saying Fred VanVleet's problem is injury from last season where surgery was recommended. He is overcompensating and throw off his shot alignment. To save Fred for long term, we need him at shooting guard. Will he accept less money? We need a point guard. This is what we need. Fred is the best point guard on our team, and he's not playing point guard. We need him to play point guard. I don't know. There's so much to this statement. Cool Cat. We talked about him not taking his surgery this summer and how that may have been a mistake. It's interesting that you think that and this may be very well true, that he's overcompensating because of the knee injury that he didn't get surgery on. And that's why his shot is so bad right now. This is all that could be very likely. Logical saying, Cat, his value is low end at 30 mil for a leader and starter. 25 mil is average for a mid starter, so it's value over time. Boston saying, hopefully we can learn from this and overcome. Yeah, the Raptors will. The Raptors will. I mean, we had the Tampa season, and we ended up coming back and being okay after Tampa. So I think we'll be fine. And there's a lot of good signs to a lot of things. In fact, we're losing in better ways than we lost in Tampa. A lot of the games we weren't even close, and they were like just dismal. It was really, really bad. We didn't have a hope. There's hope right now. We're close in these games. We're this close to getting back on the right side of the win column. And we're going to figure it out. And we will learn from it. And you guys, I'm sure you're learning too from recent losses that you guys have had. But you guys are in better shape, and you've got more good things going for you in some ways right now. As far as like, you can get Robert Williams III back now and get him integrated back into things. And, you guys may be rolling still. I don't want to predict that for you guys. I mean, whatever can happen to you guys that's negative, like what's happened to us, that's great. That'd be great. But, you guys are rolling and doing very well this season. I'll acknowledge that. I don't want to acknowledge the Knicks doing well because I know that they're fake. They're not going to be very good by the end of the season. But the other 3 Atlantic teams, other than Toronto and New York, I think they're actually real legit championship contenders, all 3 of them. And they're very dangerous, and they're going to be very dangerous to each other. So in some ways, the fight is not between us and you guys. It's the fights amongst the 3 of y'all. Because I think that the Raptors, in some ways, we're going to bow out of this one. I'd love to say we're going to be up with y'all by the end of the season, but I don't totally see it this year. Last year, I could say I could see it. But this year, I don't totally see it right now with the way things are going. It's too bad. Fiercey saying, good morning, fam. Today is the day we start voting for the All-Stars. Ooh, good heads up, y'all. You can vote for All-Stars today. Pascal and OG are my top 2. Despite the 6 consecutive losses, I also see progress, and I'm optimistic. Go Fiercey Sarah. I love it. I love it. I love it. So much positivity in there. Go vote for our guys. We'll be very lucky to get an all-star this year. I think we'll get one, and it'll be Pascal Siakam. I don't think OG's going to get it at this point. Just because we've played so badly, the perception is the Raptors aren't a very good team. Pascal will get it just because of who he is, and as far as he's a top 20 player in this league, top 15, top 10 maybe. So he should be on the all-star team for sure. Monique saying 1 week away from today, we face the Clippers. Go Raptors. Yeah, it'll be after Christmas too, guys. We're going to have Christmas this weekend. Just a programming note for this weekend. On Christmas, guys, I don't know if y'all know this, but I do a Christmas parody song. Yeah, last year I wrote a parody song of the 12 Days of Christmas for the Raptors. I'm doing another one for this year. So on Christmas morning, it won't be a regular live stream. I will be doing just a very short little sing song for you guys. I'm writing a song in the next couple of days to the tune of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and you'll hear it on Saturday. I'll have it for you as a treat. If you want to hear my one from last year, go to Christmas from last year. You can hear my 12 Days of Christmas that I did last year. It was hilarious, and it came true, a lot of it. So you'll get a good Christmas parody Raptor song on Sunday morning, or when is Christmas? It's either Sunday or Monday. You'll hear it on, I think Sunday morning you'll hear it. You'll get the parody song. And then the day after, I think I'm going to do a Monday memory. Maybe I'll do a trivia on Monday. I'm not sure. I'm either going to do a trivia or a Monday memory on Monday. And then that's Boxing Day. And then the next Tuesday, as Monique said, we're going to be playing against the Clippers on the day after. Let's see. Mike saying Starscream is making a real point on how hard it is to tank when guys need numbers and aren't into losing. How much damage are you willing to take? Trying to win needs to be the goal in the bar, in my opinion. I agree with this. I'm totally with you on this, Mike. But once again, if the water doesn't stack or add up, if you have a jug that's smaller than the other team's jug, you're not going to be able to get to the same water level as them. And in some ways, you kind of hinder yourself just by that fact. You can try and do everything possible to win, but if the talent doesn't add up to beating the other team, you can play perfect and you won't win still. And you still do all the right things winning wise and instilling the winning culture. It's just you're that close to just turning them into W's. That's what I'm saying, Mike. And I think that, you may be surprised at how much we can manipulate both at the same time. Like we can still lose a lot of games and help our draft position, but still keep a winning culture and winning ways on the down low. It's just that we're just not getting there. But you're right. There is a risk damaging the team by losing too much. There definitely is. You can talk to Sixers fans. They know about this. They definitely know about this. Country Kong saying Celtics started last season poorly before they traded for Derek White. Shot maker and glue guy and lockdown defender. I still believe in this team. Maybe Otto can be our Derek White once healthy. I'm a little worried about Otto Porter not being around the team right now. This just literally kind of smacks a little bit of like Goran, that things are a little tough, but he's not been on the bench the last couple games. I know he probably wasn't there for the Golden State game, partly because that's his former team, but it is kind of weird, his absence, not being around the team when we're on this slide and him not being at games, sitting there like Gary and Precious are. Yeah, I don't like that to a degree. I don't want to read into it too much. Could be a very good reason why. But we'd like to see you, Otto, on our bench tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. And if you're not there or what's going on, I don't know. Maybe you're taking a long Christmas break and whatever. It is what it is. Down Bad Raptors fan. This is a name in the chat. We're here every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, no matter how difficult it is to be here. We're here. I'm numb to the losses now. You got a Novocaine shot to your heart about the Raptors and the way they play right now. I feel you, Down Bad Raptors fan, and it sucks. Listen, this is the way that the world is. If everything was sunny all the time, you would not learn to appreciate the sun anymore because it would just be the standard, the way it is always. We've been so lucky. For like 10 years, the Raptors have been a very capable, good team that have won at a very high clip, done very good things, just winning, Masai Ujiri. And right now that's not happening. We're not used to it. So in some ways we need that opposite to to what's happened before to really appreciate and understand just how important and great that way was. That we forgot that we've been so spoiled as Raptor fans for the last 12 years that in some ways we forget that it can be this bad. And we need to understand that so that when we do get back to the right stuff and be in the right place, we can appreciate it even more. That this is so true. That, if you lived in a world that it was sunny every day and there was never any rain, it would be boring and you would get used to it and you wouldn't understand totally how good you have it. You need that rainy day sometimes. Fun Guy saying, I remember last year's Christmas song. Very creative. Thank you, Fun Guy. Yeah, it was like on the 12th day of what was it? 5 championship rings. 4 man, I need to dig it up. I mean, it's so crazy. It's good. It's really good. The Christmas song was good last year. This year's is going to be really good too. So y'all be ready for it. It's going to be fun. Monique saying, always is an awesome stream. Stay consistent. Go Raptors. Keep at it, Lex. Thank you, Monique. And Mike saying, W stream, great, positive, and real basketball talk. Salute Raps Freak Nation for being real ones. Thank you, Mike. Watch Logical Raptors Fanatics YouTube channel himself. Always good content. Cutting down the numbers, talking about developments, talking about Thad Young this week a lot on his channel. Just really good, more Raptors content if you love having more Raptors content. Logical Raptors Fanatics, a great channel to follow. All right, guys, we'll finish it up now. We're just under 2 hours. Let's get it done right at 2 hours. Fantastic. Raptors, you just didn't do enough to win. You didn't make enough shots. You didn't execute enough late in the game, and we lost. Well, it is what it is. We give some good feelings to other teams when we lose, and they feel better, and we have hard times, but we're still this close to getting back to this. And I feel real good about New York tomorrow. I really, really do. For some reason, don't ever underestimate the Knicks on being able to give good feelings to other teams somehow, some way. So let's see. Fun Guy saying Otto doesn't feel like a part of us, and he kind of isn't. He's still an outsider, to be honest. I don't know if that's totally true. His bonds with Thad Young are very strong. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to read into this too much, Fun Guy. I think his absence may just have to do with his toe is maybe hard to walk around on. And he just doesn't want to travel. And they're giving him the option. It could be that he has things going on behind the scenes with his family, his wife, that he'd rather go tend to. There's all kinds of different things it could be. But somebody has noticed that he has not been around recently. But I think he'll be fine. He'll come back. And he's a pro. It's not like it's anything kind of where he's like being like Goran. I bet you he everything's fine. He's just going to show up. And let's not read into that too much. I'm sure he's had a very warm welcome, and he does feel bonded to the guys to an extent. So anyway, all right, 2 hours. We're done. Thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel. I appreciate everybody for being here. Stay Raptor freaks and stay true to your team. Don't take the offers from Boston sports fan to say, oh, you can come to the dark side. You really did sound like Darth Vader the other day when you're saying, come and join me. And I was like, Luke, no, I'll never join you. I'm your father. No, we ain't coming to the dark side. So there ain't going to be no jumping ship like that with the Raptors fans, the real ones like us. That's right. Let's see. OJ Simpson Nobi. I like that name. OG Simpson Nobi. Bye, everyone. All right. I'll see you later. Take it easy, OG Simpson Nobi. I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go.